What? 2 videos in one day? Because you guys don't get enough of me? Why do I wait till I'm on video to take a sip? Because now I have the whole thing in the back of my mind. So, you know that Facebook time hop thing that likes to remind you of sometimes moments you'd rather not remember, other times moments that you're happy to remember? Well, Facebook time hop reminded me of something this week, which was that I don't know, I'm celebrating my 1 year anniversary of, I don't know, what do I call this? Anyway, been dating for a little bit over a year. and one of those anniversaries was this week. So I'm making this video 6 in my relationship series, the top 10 things I've learned about dating in the year after I lost 200 pounds. That sounds like a pretty good YouTube title, doesn't it? But where's my notes? Where's my notes? Because I wrote these down. Okay, so most of these are silly little things, except for the last 2. So I've been doing a series of videos on dating post weight loss surgery, which I will link all to below. This is number 6. Top 10 things I've learned in a year of dating after losing 200 pounds. Number 10. There are a lot of available men out there, and they are not all crazy. I think the women who are out there may all be crazy, because I have heard the most insane stories from the guys that I've met on Tinder about the women, which may be why I get so many dates on Tinder, because I'm only a little bit crazy. Compared to these stories of women, yeah, not even remotely close. So, my friends who are my age and even younger, I never really paid attention to what people were saying about dating, because I felt like it was so not part of my realm that nobody was going to be attracted to me at 400 pounds and I wouldn't be dating. So I just sort of tuned it out. But what I picked up was there are not very many available men out there. And I hear that a lot from friends now. Well, that's just not true. You may have to kiss a few frogs to get there, but there are a lot of attractive men out there. And really, for the most part, everybody, except for the one I fell in love with, everybody I've met has been relatively normal for the most part, even if there wasn't an attraction. Okay, so that's number 10. Number 9. Younger guys really like older women. I was not aware of that. I had always only dated older, like considerably older. So it was quite surprising to me when I first started dating how many men in their 30s were interested in going out with me. So, yeah, that happened. A lot. I'm being silly. You guys know that, right? Oh, yeah, and those younger guys, they particularly like older women when they are doing the sexy librarian Liz pose. That's a favorite pick, just saying. Guys like the glasses for some reason. I don't know. Okay, that's number 8. Number 7. Doesn't pay to lie about your age on Tinder. I may have told this story once before, but I've always sort of felt like you shouldn't lie about your age on dating sites, because that means you're and here comes, you know who, you just saw his tail and his butt. But, because it's like, okay, you're starting the whole relationship in a lie. Well, the first couple of men that I met on Tinder, and they told me right away, but they were lying about their age. And I was like, really? I just wouldn't think men would have to do that. But they did. And so when I came back to LA to use Tinder, I was like, well, maybe I should lie about my age. So I changed, in your Tinder profile is hooked to your Facebook account. So I had to change my age on my Facebook. And I put that I was 43 instead of 49, which is what I was at the time. 12 hours later, I get a text from a girlfriend who is a year older than me, and who we both feel like we look pretty good for our age. But she's a year older. I have to keep saying that. She's a year older. I get a text from her saying, really? 43? I'm like, what the hell? I have not even, I lied like 12 hours, and I was asleep 8 of those hours. But apparently her ex-husband matched with me, and it showed that I was connected to her on Facebook, so he was asking who I was, and the whole 43 came up, and yeah, so I I lied on Tinder about my age for 12 hours. But I thought if I can't do it for 12 hours without getting busted, I'm going back to what I believe is correct, which is not to lie about my age. Number 6, make sure you check out who your common connections are on Tinder before you actually make a date. This was my most interesting Tinder experience. So on Tinder, it connects through your Facebook profile. So it will show you what people on Facebook that you're connected to with that person, like similar friends. And now I think it goes beyond that. It shows you if they're like second connections, which means it's a friend of a friend, versus a first connection, which means it's your friend. So typically those all are, they're like very, when I look at it, they're very regular groups. So there's like entertainment industry people. They're like 12-step people. I mean, I can usually really easily tell who, you know, who this person is based on who our mutual connections are. So one night I had started communicating with somebody, and it was a younger guy, but it showed that we had like 3 mutual connections, but I didn't look at them. And so it just sort of happened to come together that we were going to go meet for a drink. He lived in Huntington Beach. We were going to meet for a drink. And I assumed, because he was Mormon, and I have 3 Mormon friends, that our connections were those Mormon friends, right? Because, you know. So right before I left the house, I looked to see what those connections were. My stepdaughter, her husband, and his best friend. Not good. So I had to get there and say, how do you know these people? And were you at their wedding? Because if you were, it's going to freak me out. It really ruined the whole thing for me, because it was like, okay, you're my kids' friends. Even though I would have had to been like a serious teenage mother to have this kid, that's still my kids. I can't go out with one of their friends. So, anyway. The 5th thing I learned in my first year dating post-op, this is totally silly, but Swifters. Who knew? I didn't know about Swifters. I should have known about Swifters. Don't even ask how that came into dating, but now I use Swifters all the time, and that's one of those things I learned about. I don't know why the color on this Kindle got weird all of a sudden, but I hope it looks okay. Number 4, I feel more beautiful, more sexy, and more confident at 50 than I have ever in my entire life. Because duh. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know why that is. I mean, it's multiple reasons. It's the wisdom of age. I don't know, but I have never felt this confident and attractive and sexy ever. And I like it. It's fun to do that. Okay. Number 3, I will most likely have to kiss a lot of frogs. I have already kissed a lot of frogs, but you know, it's okay. It's sort of a numbers game. I've been telling you guys, I've been going on 2 dates a week, and this week it's been Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And out of those, there may be one person who will qualify for a second date. But you know what? It's okay. I mean, I've probably gone on more dates. There isn't, without a doubt. I have gone on more dates in this last year than I have in my whole life combined. So anyway, yeah, frogs. But, you know, they're nice frogs. And eventually the prince will show up, right? Because I was a Disney princess at the OH costume contest. Okay, now the little bit more serious. The 2 things that are a little bit more serious. The number 2 thing that I've learned this year in dating is that from the minute that I fell in love with Brian, in my head, I was saying, this is going to kill me when it ends. And for those of you who are close to me, you know it probably almost did, but it didn't. And that is such a huge lesson to me, that I can love with my absolute whole heart, whether it was well, it's always deserving. I mean, whatever somebody else does, it's not about that. It's about what you do. I can love really deeply and completely. And I can lose that relationship, have that relationship crumble in probably the worst, other than somebody dying, in one of the worst imaginable scenarios. And I can be okay. I am good. It was not a good few months, but I'm okay. And that is, I have never known that before. I always thought that I would not survive truly opening up and loving somebody. And for whatever reason, I opened up 100% with him, and it didn't work out, and I'm okay. And that is like such an incredible lesson for me. And it doesn't at all, which I would think it might, it doesn't make me bitter or scared or anything going into a relationship. It makes me a little more discerning. And I'm so much less naive now than I was when I met him. But it even less makes me want to hold back on when I meet the right person to fall in love with. I'm all in, and it's okay. And I can be all in, and it cannot work out, and I can survive. Okay, so now I'm going to share something deep, like I've never done that before on here. I had this realization when I was at the gym today, and I actually started crying in the gym because, that's me. I was reading a book that talked about, I believe thoughts are things, what you believe is really important. And this book was talking about how it is as important what you believe you can do and what is possible for yourself as it is what you can't do and what isn't possible for you. And all of a sudden something came to mind to me that I let come in. So I have only told a handful of people how this relationship with Brian actually finally wrapped up. It wrapped up with him actually getting married to that other person. And I found out about that with a text from her as I was walking into my brother's wedding in Columbia. And then later that night, when I was reading the speech that my mother, who couldn't be there, had prepared, he started calling me. I hadn't talked to him in like a month or 6 weeks at that point. So after that, after I was done with that part of the wedding, I went in my room and I called him back. And I have to say, he took it. He took everything, and he should take it. He took everything I had to dish out. He let me yell at him, and he, he tried to explain himself. He tried to apologize. He said he should have told me that he'd fallen in love with somebody else, whatever. I was really fucking pissed that night. And so finally I was like, you know what? I'm not giving you much more of this night. So I'm going to go back to my brother's wedding reception and have a good time. So why are you calling me now? What is it that you want to say to me? And he said, I want to tell you I'm sorry. I want to tell you that I'm married now. And I want to tell you that you are going to make a really incredible wife to somebody. That fucking infuriated me. Whenever I have repeated that story to someone, and even I'm getting ready to start the storytelling workshop, and that was going to be my story. I'm not sure it is right now, but that was the thing. It's like, can you believe how fucking condescending this person was to say to me, you're going to be a wonderful wife to somebody? Of course I'm going to be a wonderful wife, but here's the thing I realized today, and it just crossed my mind, was take that in what he said. You are going to be a wonderful wife to somebody. That's, even though I've been married, that's the role that I never felt I could be chosen for, that somebody else was always going to be picked. And it's like, take that in what he said, based on all the things that you were to him and the things that you guys experienced together, and hear that. You are going to be a wonderful wife to somebody. And for whatever, it's not making me teary now, but in the gym and in the steam room when I was telling Amy about it made me totally bawl today. So that's the realization that I had, was, yeah, I do deserve that. And I am going to be that for somebody. So that's what I have. Those are the top 10 things of Elizabeth oversharing on what she has learned in the first year dating after losing 200 pounds. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.